to episode 94 of Wingin It, an Eagles podcast. I'm Ali. I am joined by Aleks this week. Unfortunately, our boy Andrew cannot make it once again, but no worries. He is with us in spirit. Before we begin and talking about what a game on Sunday, I want to tell everyone to not forget to drop us a follow if you're listening to us on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any content. If you're on Instagram, please go to @wingin.it.pod and drop us a follow there so that you are not missing any content that we've got available to you.
Ali, hold on. Hold on. Drew's not here. Who wore 94 for the Philadelphia Eagles?
You got me.
So up until last season, Joshua Perspiration, 94, right there. Now he's number 19.
19.
Yeah, but he was 94. And then also before him, Bo Allen. Little fun fact for you today. I had to look this up because Drew's always trying to keep me on my toes with all of this, so I just have to keep myself honest.
Who's before Bo Allen?
I have no idea.
I didn't want to say Josh Sweat because he wears 19 now, but
yeah, it was Joshua Perspiration.
Okay.
Up until.
Well, there you have it. Thank you for tripping me up. Aleks, speaking of 94, it felt like the Eagles could have put up 94 points on the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday.
Was my 67-0 score prediction really that far off? Was it really that far off? What did you say it was going to be 10-17? We lost all credibility. We need to get the show back on track, okay? These outlandish predictions, like I need you just to predict what you actually think is going to happen this week, Ali, and I'll try to do the same. Are we really surprised? Cooper Rush was in there. I mean, there's so many things that we can take away from the game. But I think the one thing that you called out last week is like, is Trey Lance really that bad that he can't be in the number 2 spot? And I think that we concluded that, yeah, Trey Lance really is so bad and he can't play into the number 2 spot. And Cooper Rush is, in fact, the second best quarterback on the Dallas Cowboys. What an awful performance by the quarterbacks from that game. They put up a total of 49 pass yards? No.
That's 45.
49 pass yards for the entire game. 97 rushing yards for a total of 146. This game should have actually been a little bit higher.
Yeah, to be honest, the way the game started initially, I was starting to get a little worried, right? The Dallas Cowboys go 3 and out, and I get really excited. Then the Eagles go 3 and out. Then I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Then the Dallas Cowboys take over, and they fumble the football right in on their side of the field inside the 20-yard line. Eagles are able to capitalize. Dallas goes down, scores 3 points. Eagles kind of like go back and forth, right? And I think right before the half, it was 7-6. Before the Eagles just drove down the field, where Jalen Hurts had one of the prettiest side steps that I've seen him do in the pocket, where he just climbs the pocket, kind of like rolls his right shoulder forward to avoid the rush, stands up tall, runs forward, eyes down the field, and then hits Dallas Goedert on a dart. And I was really excited for Dallas because he throws the football down. It bounces right up to his hands, and I thought he was going to be able to put it around his back for the layup above the goalpost. But unfortunately, it's a football. It's not a basketball, so he wasn't able to make the move. But in any case, for an entire half quarter, I was nervous in this game. Micah Parsons, I think the Dallas Cowboys had their highest pressure rate out of the entire season, and it's no surprise.
5 sacks on Jalen. Yeah,
it is no surprise that is the game that Micah Parsons was back in. The dude is just a beast, and you could see him kind of giggling with all the Eagles players after the game. Like he just wants to be an Eagle so bad. Like it's not a secret anymore, Micah.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I do think that is like one thing that we saw here. The Eagles did also get a few breaks their way. I'm sure you've seen all the memes of the sun coming in into CeeDee Lamb's eyes on a, pretty routine crossing route, and it was a little bit behind him, but that's a pass that your wide receiver is going to be able to make an adjustment for. The fumble on the 1-yard line, the fumbled and botched snap from Cooper Rush, just a few lucky breaks that broke that way. But I think even if you were to take into account all of the things that could have gone in the Cowboys' favor, it still would have been just an absolutely stellar performance. And it's just like it's not even close. Like, I mean, if you just like look at the statistics, the Eagles had 161 passing yards to their 49, 187 rushing yards to their 97, 348 yards total. Now, the sacks are definitely a big problem with Jalen, but besides that, his stat line wasn't too bad. He completed 70% of his passes, threw for 202 yards, and yards per attempt was 10. Did throw an interception in the back of the end zone. It was a good defensive adjustment. I don't know if I'm really giving him too much flack for it. He's had, he's doing a better job this year at protecting the football. You seem to disagree with me.
The fumble, I'm not excited about it. Like in my mind, there's no reason why you should be fumbling the football as a quarterback. Like 2 points of contact on the ball constantly. I get it, right? Like you're trying to maintain your balance, right? But this is what happened in the Super Bowl, right? Jalen fumbled the football, and that, if you want to point to one specific play that could have changed everything, it is that fumble.
Could have changed the history of the franchise. Absolutely.
Exactly. What I do want to point out, though, Jalen Hurts completed 14 passes. Cooper Rush completed 13.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts threw for 202 yards. Cooper Rush threw for 45. Listen. I think if there is a play that sums up the entire Dallas Cowboys season this year, it's Zeke fumbling on the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
And it's poetic. Zeke was not a Dallas Cowboy last season. It's because Jerry Jones felt like he didn't have it in him anymore. He decides to bring back. Zeke is overweight. All this stuff about all in when you weren't all in. And you fumble the ball on the 1 yard line with the guy that you said couldn't cut it anymore, who is overweight, but yet somehow you're all in, and then you just fumbled the season in that one play.
Hey, the best part about the Dallas Cowboys being 3-6 and the best thing going for Zeke Elliott right now, Frontier Airlines has some wonderful flight packages to Cancun in February of this year. And Zeke is just like, hey, my contract's about to end. I'm probably going to get cut again. I got to make sure I'm flying on budget. So, shout out to Zeke for absolutely imploding the Dallas Cowboys season. I do kind of wish Dak was in. I wish it was a fully healthy roster. I wish that it was a game that we could have a little bit of bragging rights. Last year you and I went down to Big D and we were embarrassed. The 15-minute walk back to the car ride was like the worst 15 minutes of my sports fandom ever. Probably even on top of losing the Super Bowl and walking out of there because the freaking Dallas Cowboys fans were deservingly just unbearable. They were in our face. They were chirping. They deserve it. They deserve all of it. But I think I would have been upset to fly down to Dallas to see a convincing win where tickets were $34, to see Cooper Rush throw the ball 13 times for 45 yards, and Trey Lance have the third amount of rushing yards on the team. Just for that stat line, Rico Dowell rushed for 12 for 53. His average was 4.4 yards. Zeke, 6 rushes for 22 yards. 3.7 with the fumble. Trey Lance 3 for 17, 5 for 7. So Trey Lance actually almost had a better rushing day than Zeke Elliott did the whole entire game.
Jeez.
Good job, Dallas. Good job. And again, not just to, I feel like we're pouring salt in the wound, but it's Dallas, so it's okay. They have the top paid quarterback in the league right now and the second or third top paid wide receiver. This is them. This is the Dallas Cowboys. It's not going away anytime soon, and it feels incredible to be able to say that.
And you know what's funny? Regardless of what happens in the draft next season, the many seasons to come, it's been 28 years, going on 29 years since the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl. Since the NFL implemented a salary cap, the Dallas Cowboys have not been able to win a championship game. And it's all because of Jerry Jones. So regardless of who the quarterback is, regardless of who the receivers or running backs are, regardless who the head coach is, which, by the way, hilarious implosion. I don't know if you heard, but Micah's comments about Mike McCarthy.
No, what do you say?
So they asked
Can you pull
Micah.
it up?
Yeah, I can pull it up.
Can you share the audio in Riverside? That'd be
Well,
cool
let's
if we could
find out. Let's
if we
see
could do
here.
that on here.
Share. Yeah, let me just pull this up.
That'd be so freaking funny. Was it like in like a press conference or something like that?
Yeah, it was right after the game. It's gonna be so good. I love implosions. I love implosions.
Yes. Yes.
Mike's on the final year of his contract.
Let's see here. Share screen. Also share tab audio.
Cool. All right, let's hear it.
Contract, so outside there's of course going to be questions. Mike's on the final year of his contract, so outside there's of course going to be questions. What's the sentiment inside the locker room, and what do you tell people who are wondering about whether Mike will be your coach next year?
You know, that's above my pay grade about if Mike is coaching again next year. But, you know, all coaching aside, coaching, you know, Mike can leave and go wherever he wants. But guys, I kind of feel bad for guys like Zach Martin and guys who might be on their last year or on their way out, you know, because that's who I wanted to hold the trophy for. You know, you want to win games and do great things with those type of legends who put in more time and work than Mike McCarthy ever did. So those are the kind of guys that I get hurt for.
Oh man. Wow. That is an implosion. You cannot say that about your head coach in the locker room. Wow.
Guys that put in the more work than Mike McCarthy ever did.
Yeah. Mike is grown. I don't know where he's going to be next year. He can go wherever he wants, but my guys are putting in more work than Mike McCarthy ever has. Wow.
But you know what? Again, this is my point. It doesn't matter who's coaching the Dallas Cowboys, so long as Jerry Jones is in the NFC East, they're never going to win.
Never.
They're never going to win. You know, my biggest I guess like negative about this season is that the Dallas Cowboys are actually bad. Part of what gives me so much joy every single NFL season is when not just the Cowboys, but Cowboys fans get so delusional and wrapped around the hype of their team in the regular season, only for them to get let down so hard in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And
now it's sad because they're not even going to be in the playoffs this year, right? And
right.
Like we may not make it all the way. There's some wackos on 94.1 saying that Eagles are a Super Bowl team, and we'll talk about the matchup that we have. But it is kind of sad. It is kind of sad to know that like there isn't going to be a first round playoff bounce. Zeke isn't going to be playing center on the last play of the Dallas Cowboys season. Jordan Love isn't going to go in there, and Dak isn't going to throw 5 interceptions, and the world won't get to enjoy that. And it's just going to be a very, very, very quick end to a pathetic season. And it's like, well, there's really no fun in that. Like, at least have a little bit of pride. At least, like, you know.
I just want them to have hope. I just want them to have hope.
Yeah.
And now when I talk to Cowboys fans, they've lost all hope.
Yeah.
And that just makes me sad because they've already let go of what the season's possibilities could be. And I mean, even if they're able to just like turn the season around a little bit just so that they're able to sneak in the number 7 spot, that would be huge.
Not be bad. Yeah.
That would be huge.
Yeah, maybe we should be rooting for the Cowboys to do really good just to watch them fall in a blaze of glory like they do every single postseason.
Yeah.
And just another pathetic. I mean, what's been 20? Would you say 27 years that they just
28 going on 29.
28 years. Wow, they're really that bad. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, anyway. All right. Well, do you want to still talk about Dallas and dwell in, a 3-6 football team, or are we going to talk about a hell of a matchup we have coming up on Thursday tomorrow night?
Thursday night football. Yeah, Jeff Bezos, I don't know what he's done to earn some of these matchups this season on Thursday night football, but we've had some winners. And I don't remember the last time I saw on Thursday night football 2 top contending teams in a conference going at it for sole leadership in their division on Thursday night football. And that's what we have on Thursday. We've got the Washington Commanders going into Lincoln Financial Field to face off against the Philadelphia Eagles. What are your thoughts on this matchup? Like, yeah, I'll just leave it at there. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of analysis. Overall, I mean, it's kind of exciting, man. I mean, inter-division rivals going in. The Commanders, and we can talk about their team with an insane mistake to lose to the team that I just refuse to believe is good. I just refuse to freaking believe the Steelers are a good team. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what George Pickens is on. I don't know how Russell Wilson has seemed to find a small like spark in
Fountain
his
of youth.
career. But then like they lost to like a very blatant like, hey, they're in the huddle, just do not jump. I'm gonna do a hard count, do not jump, and then instantly one of the Commanders jump over, first down, they kneel the clock out, automatic end of game. From the Eagles' perspective, there is some good news. There was some question that Devonta Smith had a hamstring injury. He is healthy. He will play. I think a lot of people are forgetting that Fred Johnson has been playing, and Jordan Mailata is back. I think Fred Johnson has done a really good job, but we are going to have one of the best left tackles. I think Pro Football Focus rated #1 left tackle in the league. That's going to be starting for us, and that's absolutely going to be huge because when I get into some of these offensive and defensive stats, we're going to need our offense to show up because the Commanders are we're gonna get into the breakdown. But overall, I'm really excited for the game. It's gonna be a cold fall night in Philadelphia. Weather's gonna be cooperating with us. I am taking a Commanders fan with me.
Oh my
but
God.
I'm excited, man, for sure.
How could you? No, I listen. This is a you haven't beat anyone bowl.
Yeah.
The Washington Commanders schedule so far this year: a loss to the Buccaneers, they beat the Giants, they beat the Bengals, they beat the Cardinals, they beat the Browns, they lost to the Ravens, they beat the Panthers, they beat the Bears, they beat the Giants again, and they lost to the Steelers. The Eagles' schedule this year: we beat the Packers, lost to the Falcons, beat the Saints, lost to the Bucks, beat the Browns, beat the Giants, beat the Bengals, beat the Jaguars, beat the Cowboys. Listen, you have to play your schedule. There's
Yep.
no other team that you can play other than what your schedule says. But I can understand an argument that says neither of these teams has really beat anyone big.
Yep.
And I think that this is the first opportunity that one of these teams is going to come out, one of them looking like they are a top contender in this conference. The other one is going to have some questions about, hey, what is the true identity of this team? Are we just a above average, middle of the pack team that's able to beat the teams that we're supposed to beat, but when it comes to beating some of these world beaters like the Detroit Lions, we don't have a chance? I look at this game as it is an opportunity for both teams to find out who they are. And I think this is a perfect time in week 10 of the NFL season to be able to make that determination.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is the game of the season. If we're looking for a pinnacle game and the game that everyone's going to be looking forward to, it's going to be this one. I think you said it absolutely perfectly. The Commanders, by most accounts, are like in most people's like top 8, top 6 power rankings. The Eagles aren't really too far ahead in 5 and 4, and depending on where you look. And there's even a lot to be even saying that Jane Daniels can be running for Rookie of the Year, which I think he probably will definitely win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's even in some like MVP conversations, which I think is pretty interesting. But I want to actually go into some of the things that Ali would typically do during this episode and look at some of the statistics, because I thought this was pretty eye-opening. So in total defense, the Eagles rank number 2, 274 defensive yards they give up per average. The Commanders are at 14. Their passing defense we are ranked number 3. The Commanders, number 5. Really interesting. Here's where it all unravels for them. The Philadelphia Eagles have the number 5 ranked overall rush defense. The Commanders are all the way at the bottom at 28. They give up 142 yards on the ground per game, and that is really going to help us overall. However, on the flip side of that, When we look at the offense, this is what blew my mind. The Commanders are number 4 in total offense, and the Eagles are at number 6. Now, we're talking about a 4-yard difference, 377 yards to 373. But I thought it was also pretty interesting that the Commanders rank higher than the Eagles in passing offense at 11 to the Eagles 20. And on rushing offense, the Eagles are number 2, Commanders are number 4. Oddly enough, the Eagles have a better ranked defense, but the Commanders actually beat us in some offensive stats, and they absolutely destroy us on third down. The Eagles suck at third down. That's just kind of the Eagles' MO this year. It's really simple. Give the ball to Saquon Barkley. They can't stop the run. We have the second best rush defense in the entire league. We have to establish the run early, and if we get there, it's going to be a cakewalk. We're going to be able to get out. These stats surprised me. What are your thoughts on the breakdowns between some of the rankings here on offense and defense?
I really wish the key to this was not handing the ball off to Saquon, because for a quarter and a half, we're not going to do that. We're going to come out throwing the football. Jalen Hurts is, out of his 20 pass attempts in the game, you're probably going to find 13 in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is interesting. Do you remember what Washington's third down defense is, or do you have that?
Yeah, their third down defense or third down offense?
Third down defense.
Third down defense. Washington ranks 23. So they give up 42%. The Eagles, are actually at 35%. So defense third down rate. So that means 35% are
converted.
Okay. And the Commanders are at 42%.
Yeah.
The worst team in the league is the Panthers at 48%. And they still beat up on the Giants somehow.
So what I do think is interesting is you've got a third down defense for the Washington Commanders that is suspect. And really what I think about when I think about this matchup, everything you just said, say their pass defense again.
Their pass defense, like overall pass. Oh yeah. Pass defense, defense, scoring defense, passing defense. Commanders are 5th. We're 3rd. 173. We give up 173 per game. They give up 182. So you're talking about a 9-yard delta.
Got it. Okay. So it's kind of interesting to hear that, right? Because like Russell Wilson it seemed like he was having his way with the Commanders this past weekend. Actually, no, because they were leading for a majority of the game up until the end. So honestly, it's as simple as that for me. I mean, Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts' legs are going to be the key to this game. Jalen Hurts is coming off of 2 back-to-back 50-plus yard rush games. I want to see more of that. I think Saquon Barkley would easily, hands down, there wouldn't even be a question of who the MVP is this season if the Eagles didn't have the tush push. The amount of times that Jalen Hurts has scored touchdowns on tush pushes that could have been just handoffs to Saquon, I think would have catapulted him to easily the front runner for the NFL MVP this season. It is as simple as if Saquon Barkley gets the ball 20 times this game, we're running away with it.
Yeah.
If we can control time of possession, if Jalen Hurts is held to under 25 pass attempts, just keep running the same formula over and over again. Last year, the Philadelphia Eagles team, their identity was finding a way to win. Whatever it is, didn't matter if we didn't own time of possession, we didn't, control the yard stat line, we didn't control whatever stat line, we just found a way to win. This year's Eagles team is known as a top defense. Huge surprise, by the way. Think about where we were last season.
I know, dude.
Going into week 12 or week 13 of the NFL season, Nick Sirianni fires Sean Desai, promotes Matt Patricia, and the season just unravels after that. We bring in Vic Fangio. 3-4 weeks into the season, it looks like we're back to, shades of last season again. And then whatever it is during the bye week, thank God the bye week that we had was early in the season.
Yep.
Whatever it was, it clicked for this defense. We are operating on all cylinders. This team is known as a hardline defensive team, a team that runs the football, and good God, do we get some big plays consistently. This
Yeah.
team is known as a big play offense. Jalen Hurts, I know I'm a little hard on him sometimes, but he has one of the prettiest deep balls that I've ever seen. That deep ball that he threw to AJ Brown, the deep ball that he threw to Jahan Dotson. What were you gonna say?
No, I think he's the best deep ball thrower in the entire league. I mean, I don't think he has a cannon for an arm. Like I don't think he's throwing it as far as Mahomes or Allen, but he's not overthrowing receivers by 20 yards like Mahomes or Allen is either. Like he has the best deep ball in the entire league. And who would have thought? Who would have thought Jalen Hurts out of all the quarterbacks would do that? And I know there's probably a stat somewhere that says I'm wrong or he's top 3 or whatever, but like just look at the games for yourself. He's hitting these dudes in stride. He's hitting it with just like pinpoint precision on the back of the goal lines and what he needs to do and getting it over defenders that are like I mean it's insane to see. It's insane
Yes.
to see.
So the Eagles offense from week 7 through 10 are the number 1 explosive play offense. So
Hell yeah,
explosive,
dude.
explosive play meaning that we're gaining 20 plus yards on a specific play. So this offense is known as an
Let's
explosive
go.
big play offense since week 7.
Let's go, dude. That fires me up so much. And you know what? That's exactly what my criticism was like week 2, week 3 is like, this doesn't look like a Kellen Moore run offense. It looks like a Kellen Moore run offense because those explosive plays was the defining thing on what made the Cowboys when he ran those teams were those explosive plays. And I love that we're seeing that for our team. Number
Can-
1. Love that.
Can I fire you up some more?
Yeah.
Since week 7, so week
Yep.
7 through 10,
Mm-hmm.
the Eagles defense has given up the second least explosive plays in the NFL.
Wow.
So not only do
Wow.
we get big plays, our defense doesn't allow big plays.
And that's with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson in there too. Damn.
I know.
My man is getting burnt like toast. That's awesome. Where do you think Vegas has this game at? I know you're not the biggest gambler, but what do you think the lines are at? Just take a guess.
3.5 points.
Yeah, you looked, obviously.
Is it really?
Yeah, it is.
No, I didn't look at it. Seriously.
Yeah, and that's I feel like that's actually a little bit generous. I think the Eagles should be like a 4 or 5 point favorite in this
Sure.
one. Just because they're at home, you get the 3 points automatically. So they're saying on a neutral field, the Commanders would have a 0.5 point disadvantage heading into Lincoln Financial. I think it's going to be a really loud field. I really think we're going to see what Jaden Daniels is actually made of in a high pressure game. Hurts is made for moments like this. We don't know if Daniels has been absolutely pressure tested yet. I mean, and let's also not forget they lost to the Commanders, and the Bears have been looking really, really, really bad, and they won against that team on a Hail Mary, right? And that is, we're going to hear that all the time too. I don't know the exact year, but the last time the Commanders started as hot as they have, they won the Super Bowl. So their fans have a lot riding on this. They've been a mediocre team for quite some time. I think the last time they made the playoffs, I think we let them win. Wasn't there something with like the Giants that like they needed us to lose and then we ended up letting the Commanders win and they got in as a result, and then
Yep.
the Giants fans cried for years, and then we picked up Devonta Smith the next year and they're like, stop messing with us, man.
Yeah, that was the game. Doug Peterson got fired right after that game.
Yeah.
Because it looked
Yeah.
like they were just tanking for draft picks. Listen, Jalen Hurts. However, first of all, have you seen the clip for Oz the Mentalist?
I started watching it, watching TV in bed with my wife. She's reading and I'm watching reels and sitting there giggling, and she's like, can you turn that off? So no, I didn't actually get to see the whole thing. But no, I know it's out there, but I didn't get to see the whole thing.
So I'm not going to spoil anything for you. I
Sure.
recommend that you watch it. But there was a point in time where Oz asks AJ Brown to think of his like childhood crush, like when he was in grade school. AJ Brown says the name, and like Oz has,
Yeah.
the actual girl's name on the poster. And the clip like pans over to Jalen's face, and he's just like this.
Dude, we saw a Mentalist a few months ago. We were with my aunt, her boyfriend, and my parents, and dude, that stuff's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I got called up and had to, like hold like a stapler and like he was like putting it to this guy's like head, and like one of us only had staples in it. I think it's a really bad idea to bring a mentalist though to a team that's doing so good. We don't need to be hypnotized. We don't
Right.
need to like, I don't know, every time Jalen Hurts says hike, you start wetting yourself. Like we don't need
Right.
any of that. We don't need any of this bad juju. So whoever the PR person is to think it was a good idea to bring a mentalist to the Eagles facility, don't. Go
Yeah.
to the Commanders, go to the Cowboys, do anything. Get that voodoo stuff out of our locker room. I'm not a fan of it.
Well, apparently Jalen Hurts was also not a fan of it because he just did not look amused the entire time. But for
I had a purpose before I was born. It's like, all right, Jalen, talking in
Yeah.
Instagram quotes. Has he been talking in Instagram quotes this year?
Yeah, I think I've
Yeah.
heard a couple. Honestly,
Yeah,
I
it's
just
like
like
kind of
stopped
him.
listening to the press conferences at the end just because
Yeah.
like I don't really care about what you have to say. Like just
Yeah.
win the game or lose, right? Like what just play the game. I'm not
Yeah.
telling him like shut up and dribble, right? But like you've got you've got a job. You know what I mean? Like you've got a job, right? If there's
Yeah.
something outside that's going on that you need to like dedicate your mental energy or load to, like sure, absolutely like focus on that. But if nothing is going on externally, like you're just playing poorly, like just do your job better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I would get fired if I didn't do my job well.
Gotcha.
In any case, Jalen Hurts, for lack of better phrase, better or for worse, like his biggest stat line is his win record. Because at the end of the day, that's all a quarterback is
All that
known
matters.
for is
Yep.
your wins and your losses. He's 44-26-1.
Wow. What's Daniel Jones? I'm just curious.
At home, at New York or away?
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, because I think Daniel Jones's win-loss record away is better than his win-loss record at home. Because I think all the New York fans are just like
Hate him.
screaming at him on the field, and it's hurting his psyche.
Yeah.
So what do you got as far as score prediction for this game?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I do think we have the advantage. I do think we'll pull it out. I do think we'll win. The line is over under 48.5. I think I'm gonna go over on that. Listen, even last year when the Eagles were on their hot streak, they did come back and tie it. And interdivision games are always different. I'm gonna say the Eagles squeak it out though. It's gonna be 31-26. I think that 26 though isn't a very close 26. Might be a garbage time, attempted onside kick, something like that, and we end up recovering and going out. But I think we'll probably have a few moments of the game where we're breathing a little heavy, heart rate, blood pressure is rising. But give me 31-26. I like that a lot.
Okay. So when we started this podcast, you said that I had to give you a legitimate score prediction, actually talking about what I think is going to happen. So I actually wrote it down on a piece of paper here.
Okay.
I have the Eagles winning 31-17. And
Wow.
the way I see this game playing out is that it is going to be close until the third quarter, kind of like the Cincinnati Bengals game, where the Eagles are going to be somewhere around the 14-point margin, and then something is going to break this game wide open. You're going to have
the Quinyon Mitchell breakout game.
Quinyon Mitchell breakout game. I do expect to see some type of defensive performance here where, we've got an interception return for a touchdown or some type of like multiple turnover recoveries.
Blocked punt like that. Yep.
I do expect that this game is going to get broken out wide open in the middle of the third quarter into the fourth quarter. So
Okay.
I've got the Eagles winning 31-17.
Cool, man. No, I love that prediction. I think it looks good. Are we going to do Swinging It again this week? Are we going to be able to hold our composure this week and not end on a laughing fit like we did on last week's episode, which Riverside takes out a lot of the background noise. So for everyone that knows, we use Riverside as the platform, and then it has an audio editor, and what it does, it removes some of the background noise and everything. So at the end of last week's episode, if it was a lot of quiet, it was Ali and I just like absolutely cracking up and just talking about how we have no credibility, and me asking sponsors for money to sponsor us because our analysis is so spot on. So that's what that was. I don't know if there was any confusion. You can see it all on our YouTube live stream. I really haven't looked at too many games this week.
There is one game I'm interested in.
What's that?
It's the Kansas City at Buffalo game.
Kansas City is the worst 9-0 team we've ever seen. There is no way that they sustain that. I absolutely love that. Buffalo.
They're the underdog, though.
Oh, dude. What?
Listen,
How?
hear me
How?
out.
How's the
Hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm not rooting for Kansas City.
I'm not rooting for Kansas City either. This is part of the strategy here is that if they end up winning this game, we end up looking really smart because we picked the right Wingin It pick. If they end up losing this game, then we get to celebrate. So it's a win-win either way. The reason why I am saying it is a little enticing here is that it's Josh Allen against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Josh Allen, just for whatever, he drank something as a baby that just does not allow him to beat Patrick Mahomes in football games. I don't think this is going to be any different. I think the Chiefs' defense is the reason why that they've been able to be so successful this year. They keep the Chiefs in the game the entire way there, and with the exception of the game against the Broncos this past week, Patrick Mahomes makes the right moves, the right plays when he needs to at the end of the game. He does not lose the game for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be another one of those situations. Do you see any other games that kind of pique your interest?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I see the Seahawks and the 49ers, and San Francisco's a 6.5 point favorite. And the 49ers are definitely like trending in the right direction, but being an interdivision game, Seahawks are in their division, yeah. Am I ruining my credibility right here? Yeah. So I think that I could see that. Then also, dude, and I can't believe the Ravens and the Steelers both have 7 wins, and the Steelers are an underdog. And I just refuse to believe that they're a good team. Like, I know their defense is good. Like, I totally understand that TJ Watt is like a freak of nature, but like, I can't wrap my head around that the Steelers have only lost 2 games. And if I'm a betting man, I'm probably going against me here. The storyline for the Chiefs looks a little good. We need, you know what we need to do? We need to start putting monetary, we have to start putting money down on these to make these stick. Because all we're doing is reading off our phone, and we're not putting our money where our mouth is, Ali. And I think if we start making wrong picks, it needs to hurt us financially. So we need to really start backing this up and getting this, or making images to put on our Instagram again to tell the world how bad we are at picks and to bet against us.
Yeah.
But sure, I'm with you. We'll go with the Chiefs.
Well, hold on. Listen. I'm actually this week of NFL matchups looks incredible. We start off Thursday Night Football, 2 7-win teams.
Yep.
In the Commanders going to Philadelphia.
Yep.
Then if you go over on Sunday, 1 o'clock, Baltimore at Pittsburgh, 2 7-win teams. You've got the Falcons at the Broncos. These are 2 solid teams. You've got the Chiefs at the Bills, 2 solid teams. The Bengals at the Chargers, 2 solid teams. And then, oh God, I can't wait for the Texans and Cowboys. That's going to be so much fun.
Yes. Monday night too. We can all celebrate the Cowboys. It's great how it all just is poetic and comes back to the Cowboys. Also Packers Bears might be a good game too. That's an interdivision game.
For sure.
The Lions are going to destroy the Jaguars. That's not going to be a good game. I don't think Red Zone's going to cut to that at all for us. It's going to be nice to watch a game on Sunday. All right. Yeah, I'm good with the Chiefs. That's fine. Let's just go on to it. But yeah, it's going to be a good Sunday. Eagles football will be over with the winner or loss, but Ali and I are both predicting a W. Any last words before we sign off?
Please pay us money for our analysis.
Please pay us money for our analysis. I'm telling you, this is some spot on stuff. Sponsors, we're looking at you. But this has been episode 94. Really excited for this Thursday night football game. And I will be down at the stadium, so I will not have a voice most likely on Friday for the most exciting game of the season. Yeah. Follow us. Go Birds.
Go Birds.